Today, we are going to be sewing up the holly cowl top. This is a super fun pattern, which is beginner friendly. And if you want to get the pattern, you can download it from my website, or you can get it in the sewing club for cheaper. That's right. And it also comes with additional sewing lessons, like how to add sleeves to it and how to create a fully lined version as well. And if you get the pattern through the sewing club, you also get access to our Discord where you can ask questions about this top whenever you like. And this top goes great with the bubble skirt. This is also one of our patterns that you can download. There'll be a link down below for it. And together, these two separates make a great holiday outfit. Sewing your own wardrobe is so rewarding. So let's start creating this top right now. Now it's time to prepare your pattern, which means you need to print it out. You can print it out on your home printer because it is A4 and letter friendly. Cut it, tape it together, or you can send the large format version to a printer, and there is a link down below for a recommended printer. And if you need help putting together the pattern or printing it, because it is a layered PDF, so you can print just one size, two sizes, or all the sizes. Now that you have your pattern printed, it's time to find your size. You're going to need two measurements for this. You're going to need your bust measurement and your waist measurement. So you're going to find your bust and your waist in the size chart here and cut out that size. But if your bust and your waist are different sizes over here, you're going to need to grade your pattern. So if you're in the sewing club, just hop on up to that video in the top of the lessons. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you check out the link down below in the description. Once you've found your size and graded your pattern, if you need to, it's time to cut out your paper pattern. So we just have two pieces. This is a nice, simple top. Once you have your paper pattern pieces cut out, it's time to cut out the fabric. But before you cut your pattern out of fabric, you need to choose some fabric. Now, this top was intended to be sewn out of a knit fabric. So for holiday, I'm suggesting a velvet. Today, I'm going to be working with a stretch velvet with a little sparkle. I think it's perfect for the holidays. But you could be using just a regular t-shirt knit, you could use a double knit, you could use a crepe knit, you can really use any sort of knit fabric. You could even use spandex. How fun would that be? A little sporty cowl top. And you can even make this pattern out of a woven, but I would choose a very lightweight fabric if you're going to be using a woven. And then, quick tip, you need to place that front panel on a bias if you are making it out of a woven. So really you want to be choosing a knit fabric if you're following along with me today. Now let's check out the pieces you should have cut out. The first piece you're going to have is your back top, which is cut one on fold. And then you'll have one front top cut on fold. And then that's it, just two pieces for this top. Now that we have everything cut out, it's time to start sewing. Today, I'm going to be using a serger for seams and a cover stitch for all the hem. But if you don't have a serger or a cover stitch machine, that's okay. You can still do this on your regular home sewing machine. For your regular seams, you're going to want to choose your lightning bolt stitch or a knit equivalent stitch on your machine. If you don't know what it is, definitely reference your manual. And then for hemming the knit fabric, you're going to want to use a broken zigzag or another type of knit hem stitch that your machine might have. The first thing we're going to do is sew together our side seams and our shoulders, and you're going to notice that the back is smaller than the front. It's supposed to be like that. So when you're lining these up, you just pull the whole piece over and line it up and then sew it together. Same thing for up here because it's a cowl. So we just take these two little shoulder seams and we line them up, and then it's going to start creating a beautiful shape for us. So we have two side seams and two shoulder seams. So let's go put it together. So I have my fabric in the serger because I'm going to be serging my seams together. But if you don't have that serger, let me show you what stitches you can use on your regular sewing machine. And so the stitches you can use on your sewing machine are your stretch stitch, which I call the lightning bolt stitch here. It's like a zigzag and a straight stitch merged together. That's a zigzag at a 45-degree angle. Heavier knit fabric needs a longer, wider stitch, and a thinner fabric needs a shorter, narrower stitch. And these stitches I'm showing you here are for stretchy fabric because if we use a straight stitch in knit fabric, it pops and it falls apart. It just doesn't work. The other stitch I'm going to recommend is going to be the overcast stretch stitch. So it's an overcast that has a 45-degree angle in it instead of that 90-degree angle in it. This is also going to allow your fabric to stretch more. But if you had to choose one over the other, I definitely recommend the stretch stitch that looks like a little lightning bolt. So you can use either one of these to sew your seams instead of the serger. I'm going to start by serging my side seams. And I'm using the 4-thread overlock stitch. Now I'm going to move on to my shoulders, just making sure I'm lining up those edges. Now I'm done with the seams. Let's check out the seams we just sewed together. So now that I have the side seams and the shoulders serged together, you can see how this cowl is starting to form on the front of the top. Now it's time to hem all of our edges. See, didn't I tell you this is a nice simple top? We're going to hem 4 spots. We're going to hem the bottom, the armholes, and the neck. Now let's go over getting a perfect hem for all these spots. Our hem amount on this top is 3/8 of an inch. So to get the perfect fold of 3/8 of an inch to the inside, I'm going to be measuring up 3/4 of an inch because 3/8 times 2 is 3/4. So I'm just using a 2-inch clear ruler and I'm lining up 3/4 with the hem and then drawing a line. So now I have a line to follow. And we're gonna go all the way around the waist. I'm just gonna do half right now. We are going to fold up the raw edge to that line. And that is going to give us a beautiful little spot. And when we pin a hem, we have to make sure that the pin is in just the little hem spot, the little piece that we're folding up to the inside. It can't go in the hem and then out of the shirt, otherwise it doesn't hold. So you have to make sure you're going in and back out of the little piece of fabric that you're folding up to hem. Now that I've done half, I'm going to flip it over, do the other half. Now that I'm all pinned up, it's time to hem. I'm going to be using the cover stitch today, but if you don't have a cover stitch machine, I'm going to give you some other options. So if you're not going to be using a cover stitch to hem, I recommend a broken zigzag because it allows your fabric to stretch some. You can also use your lightning bolt stitch as well if you don't want to see the look of a broken zigzag. And I also like to use the overlock stitch sometimes. Kind of creates like this fake cover stitch, flat lock look. So I think this one can be really fun. And there's some different variations of it on sewing machines. This one they actually call a flat lock stitch as well. So anything that's going to hold down the edge of the fabric and still allow it to stretch is a great option. I also really like this wavy serpentine stitch for hemming knits. Not all machines have it, but I think it's a really fun option and I find that it works great. But if you are inexperienced to sewing, I would stick with the broken zigzag. It's going to be the easiest. And if you are using a broken zigzag, you want to line up the raw edge of your fabric with the center of the foot, so that way the zigzag stitch goes on and off the edge, the fold over here, keeping it nice and flat and secure and finishing it at the same time. So I have my cover stitch set up and my fold is on the bottom. And we're just going to run it through and it's going to hem our bottom for us. When I get back to where I'm starting, I like to cut those existing threads that are there from the front and the back so nothing gets caught. Now I'm going to sew over till I'm overlapping my stitches, just a couple. Make sure my needles are up, lift up my foot. I'm going to pull out the 2 threads from underneath the foot and cut them, and then pull my project to the back and then cut that one last thread. And what this does is it pulls the threads from the top to the back, so that way you don't have any threads on the top, and then all you need to do is cut off or knot the threads in the back. So you can see this beautiful cover stitch on the outside, and then when we flip it back to the inside, you can see how we have that cover stitch there just covering that raw edge. It essentially looks like a serge covering the raw edge, but it does all of this at the same time. And now I'm going to finish the armholes and the neck the exact same way. So let's go ahead and finish the rest of these hems. Now I'm done with the neck and I'll be moving on to the arms. And on to the last armhole. And we're done. We are done. Look at how cute this top is. It's going to be perfect for the holidays. Let's try it on the dress form and check it out. And here it is on the dress form. Look at how beautiful this draped cowl is. I just love it out of this stretch velvet with the shimmer. It's got that really nice stretch to it, so it's going to be super comfortable. I love all the simple finishes around the edges with the cover stitch. And the back has a nice smooth fit. I just think this is such a fun, great top to make and wear for holiday or whenever, really. And if you're wondering, why is it so short? Why does it just go to the waist? Well, it's meant to wear with skirt. So if you've got your high-waisted skirt, it's just meant to hit you at your skirt. So that way you don't have like this giant top covering your skirt. Let's go try it on. And here it is on. I just love it in this soft, sparkly stretch velvet. And this is the unlined version with the finished edges. It's great with the bubble skirt, or I can even see it with a pair of black jeans and some fancy heels. How fun would that be for a night out? And this top was designed to go with the bubble skirt, and you can see it's the perfect length with the bubble. So I went with bright colors for holiday, red and purple, but I could definitely see some silver, some gold, maybe some red and green. The great thing about designing your own clothes is that you can choose the style and the vibe that you want. You could do it all black, all hot pink. It is totally up to you. And don't forget, if you want to create a lined version or a version with sleeves, make sure you head on over to my sewing club where those lessons are. It's the only place you can get them. Thanks so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you have any questions about the Holly Cowl top, leave it down below and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. And let me know what other kinds of garment patterns or accessory patterns would you like to see this year. I will add them to my creation list. If you enjoyed the video today, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when all the new tutorials come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you for watching today. These videos are for you guys. And if you want to learn more about sewing, make sure you check out my online and in-person classes here in Chicago. There's links down below for everything. And if you want to know what's going on in the studio today, what we're making and creating and working on, make sure you check out my Instagram stories. Thank you so much for watching Sewing Anastasia. Bye!